Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another single song reaction. We have a miracle happening in our midst. We are getting a brand new Sybreed song. But wait, it's not exactly a brand new Sybreed song. It is an old Sybreed song that didn't make the cut for their very first album, Slave Design, back in 2004. And
Wow.
since they're getting ready to re-release a deluxe 20th anniversary edition of Slave Design relatively soon, I think it comes out in October, I believe, maybe November. They went through and remastered and I think remixed the album, which I'm so excited for. I'll probably try to get a copy of this because Sybreed stuff is so ridiculously hard to find anymore. You can't buy any of their CDs for less than $70. I mean, they just don't exist. You cannot go to Amazon or eBay and type in Sybreed and get any results. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I'm so mad at Austin for so many things, but nothing more so than the fact that he took their most recent album from 2012, I think, God is an Automaton. He took that and put it in his car, and then when he had his car like impounded, all my 5 CDs that he took from me and had in his car, they got destroyed.
Wow.
And so he's a huge jerk for that. So anyway,
That's
Austin,
a very
you
Austin
suck.
thing to do. It's funny that you just like I'm mad at him for so many things, and I love that sentiment.
But anyway, that's just for Austin and for me and Chris. That's an inside joke. Doesn't matter. So if you're here and you're like, who's Sybreed? I was born only 18 years ago. First of all, you suck. And you don't know what real metal is. Metallica also sucks. But Sybreed was an awesome, awesome, awesome band. Their first album was called Slave Design. It came out in 2004. And then their best album, in my opinion, which is called, I should remember this off the top of my head, Antares. Sorry, it was not an English word, so I couldn't remember it. Antares, which I believe is their best album, came out a couple of years later. It looks like 2007. And that album is just so fantastic. But both their first album and their second album are so good. It's like cyber metal, cyber tech death metal with distorted vocal verses, clean vocal singing for the choruses. Benjamin's voice, the guy that sings, his name is Benjamin. His voice is very unique. I've never heard any other metal band with a singer that sounds like him, either his singing vocals or his distorted, like grunting vocals or growly vocals, his like screamy vocals. And then Drop is the name of the guy who did a lot of the electronics and the guitars and the drums for this album, kind of basically was the mastermind of the music. He has been doing many things over the years. I think he started a new band called Obsidians a few years ago, and they have a couple of albums out, and I've enjoyed those, but not nearly as much as the Sybreed albums. But he is so cool because he does remixes of a lot of things, like bands that I love. He does remixes of their songs, and so you can just go look up like Drop remixes, and his name is just Drop Drop. You just go look up Drop remixes, and it's just like a playlist of like the greatest hits of all the songs that you love, and they're all just remixes done by him, and they are all fire, just total bangers, one after the other, sounding completely different from one another. It's amazing. And so for this album, he went through, remastered, I believe remixed, went into the actual sessions and everything and cleaned everything up. And I think that if I read online, he re-recorded the guitars for the album because he is such a better guitar player now, knows how to record things and do all
Very
that stuff.
Megadeth of him.
Very Megadeth of him, yes. I'm not sure if that's 100% positive or not, but maybe it's just re-recording guitars for this track. I know I read that that's for this track in specific.
Have you heard this track yet?
I have
This
not.
song?
So I'm very
Excellent.
excited for this. It looks like it's quite long, 6.5 minutes. It was just released yesterday. Or actually maybe today even. It just has 5,000 plays on it. Sybreed was not a huge band back in the day, but it was big enough to make it to the United States. They were compared to bands that I loved at the time, like Soilwork, In Flames, definitely Nemec, Meshuggah, Raunchy, that kind of stuff. All those bands that I love and talk about all the time that were big influences on me when I was in high school. Sybreed was one of those bands. So yeah, I don't know. So Chris, do you remember very much about this band or?
No, the name sounds familiar, but that's the best I can do.
Mm-hmm. I know you've heard some of their stuff for sure.
Probably, yeah.
But let's just go ahead and give this a listen. This song was going to be on their debut album, Slave Design, but it didn't make it, I think, because it was just one that they were working on and it wasn't ready in time. And I don't think it was because it was like discarded because it wasn't good enough. But I believe for this, they went into the studio and Benjamin re-recorded his vocals for this, and he has not been doing a lot of music. He has done guest vocals for bands and stuff, over the last 20 years, or the last, I guess at this point since 2012, it'd be like whatever, 10 years ish or so. He hasn't been doing a lot, but I think he does have one band release an album, and I wasn't super happy about it. I think he released like a trip hop electronic album a couple of years ago. That's pretty cool. Anyway, he re-recorded vocals for this because there were never finished final vocals, and Drop re-recorded some of the electronic stuff and the guitars. So this is basically a modern recreation of the song as it was back in 2004.
Huh, okay.
All right, ready? This is System Debaser by Sybreed in 3, 2, 1. And I'm assuming this will be kind of an indication as to what the rest of the album will sound like, but maybe not. This band was all about patterns and rhythms and stuff, not about lead guitar at all. I don't think you'll hear a single like lead guitar note anywhere in any one of the songs.
Okay.
Just rhythm stuff.
I like that groove.
Yeah.
It's just a Metallica medley.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
I'm gonna turn it up. Yes.
Cool.
Yes. Oh yeah, those synths.
Sounds great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this sounds just like their first album.
Who does this remind me of?
I would love it if you could come up with something.
I'll tell you. Probably Demon Hunter.
Oh, I could see that.
That chorus bit at least. Those synths are doing so much work.
Yeah.
They're so hidden.
Yep.
Love that.
The vocals are much heavier than they were 20 years ago.
Oh, nice.
He's using a much different technique here.
Usually it's the opposite.
Yeah. But this sounds just like their first album.
So funky little effect.
Yeah.
I guess let's call it.
The vocals are a little low.
Yeah.
Imagine hearing this was so different in 2004. Mm-hmm. You know, this is like when I first heard Cell Dweller. I was like, what? Because, you know, other bands used synths a lot, of course, at that point. But, like, this was just, like, different. It's so
This doesn't sound... I mean, nothing about this sounds 20 years old.
Yeah. It's... Yeah. It has such an industrial, like, cold... apocalyptic, like, cyberpunk sound to it, and they use lots of, like, drum samples and, like, drum and bass stuff and whatnot, but very heavy always. And this song's not, there's really nothing, like, super standing out to me about this. It just feels like another song from the album. But I never thought we would get another Sybreed song. If in some world, some universe, this could ever possibly lead to a Sybreed reunion and a new album, the universe would crumble. I mean, the world would crumble. All right, pause it. Okay, now click on Sybreed's name. You see there they have 33,551 monthly listeners.
Yeah.
Okay, now go down to where it says Slave Design 20th Anniversary Edition under Release Countdown. You see that?
Yeah.
Click on that. Let's listen to the first, like, minute of Decoy, because that's my favorite song off the album. And I will tell you, Chris, when I heard the guitar part, that's like this choppy guitar part, it's not the very first thing you hear in the song, but it is like you hear it once I think the verse comes in. Even to this day, I don't know if I've ever heard anything that just so shocked me, because I was like, I think what I was realizing was you can't actually play a guitar like that. Like, it's so choppy and the gate was so fast that it was manipulated in the digital DAW, right? So they manipulated the guitars in the studio to make them this way. It was the first time I'd ever heard anything like that. Huh. And I'll point it out when we get to it. But let's just listen to, like, the first minute of this.
Yeah.
So this is Decoy. This is the remastered version. Hold on. Oh, interesting. Bioactive. The first track also has a re-recorded version, a 2024 re-recorded version.
See that.
So instead of there being only 10 tracks on this, there's 12. So that's awesome. So let's listen to the first minute of Decoy in 3, 2, 1.
Sounds a lot different.
Yeah.
So much more.
The kick drum is way more metallic.
Is that a reverb?
So that's how his screaming voice is on the whole album.
Too low.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't sound the greatest.
This reverb is enormous. And not necessarily in an awesome way.
I guess I'm not hearing what reverb you mean.
Just whatever's making tickling the back of my ears. Like, it's just so big and wide and booming.
All right, hear this part right here.
Oh, yeah, the cutoff.
This is the chorus.
To lead,
to follow, to never asking why. I love this guitar part. Could we... Okay, you can pause it. Okay. Okay, all right. So thank you for indulging me.
If the verse vocals were as high in the mix as the chorus, then you'd really have something going there.
Yeah. No, the thing is, it's so weird. It's weird how the universe works, right? Like 3 weeks ago, before they announced any of this at all or anything, I was just like, I'm going to listen to Sybreed again. So I listened to their 3 albums that I have. And then the next day after I finished, it took me like a week or so. After I finished, they made this announcement. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me.
Love it.
Because
Love it.
I couldn't believe it. So anyway, all right, everybody, do you have anything you want to say about any of that, or?
I mean, I was just gonna say, like, the number of times that I've done a thing, like, the best example of this is, like, fired up a game I haven't played in a while, and it's like, oh, the last time I played this was a year ago today. That's not acceptable, and it happens all the time.
And that's the day they announced the remaster for PS5.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. This is just really cool. 35,000. Sybreed was such an important band to me growing up. They were a really neat band at the time. They are still a cool band. All the guys in the band are neat. Drop is especially really cool. He's done so many things. He's done stuff for Birthday Massacre. He's done stuff for everybody, Chris. Just everybody.
Is that's the main guy of Sybreed, right? It's Drop, the lead singer?
Yeah, no, Benjamin's the lead singer.
Oh, right.
Drop is the guy that does basically all the instrumentation.
I see.
He plays the drums. He does the guitars, the bass, and then everything else you hear as well. So basically everything.
Cool. Nice.
And then when they tour, they have like dudes in the band that do all that stuff. But, and I believe, like I said, Drop is in another band called Obsidians, where he just does, I think, either drums and electronics, or he does just a guitar. Like, he's just a guitar player in that band. Mm-hmm. So, but it is sort of similar style metal. So if that sounds interesting to you guys and you want to hear something more, but I cannot recommend listening to the all 4 Sybreed albums enough. God is an Automaton is their most recent one. That's the one that Austin stole from me because he's a jerk. And that one I haven't listened to in many years because he stole it from me and I can't listen to it. But that one is very heavy. It's their heaviest of their albums, but I also think it's the best produced. But if I were to recommend any of their albums, I would recommend Antares, their second album. There is a ton of vocoder stuff on that. It's very much like Android-y, it's very cool, very cool. So check out Antares if you are interested in this and you want to hear more. And 14 days from now, the Slave Design 20th anniversary comes out. So check that out. I don't think we won't be doing a reaction to that because that album's 20 years old. You can go listen to it right now if you want to, the original version. But thank you very much for being here. If anyone from Sybreed ever sees this, Drop or Benjamin sees this, you guys are awesome. You helped influence my musical taste as I was growing up, and that's so awesome. Thank you so much for being so great. And thank you for continuing to do this. And just know you have one fan sitting here who would love a reunion and a new album if you sure wanted to put all that time and effort into making one.
Just for you.
So, you feel free if you want to do that. I thought Benjamin's vocals were great on this new verse song. That was one thing I was going to say. Like, his vocals, could you tell the difference between the screaming vocals there, Chris?
I don't think I was paying enough attention to that.
Okay, that's fine. There was a lot to listen to, and we only listened to a minute of that other one. But in the new song, his vocals were a lot tighter, I felt, and I liked them. I would say I probably even liked them a little bit more. It would be neat if there was some overdubbing and stuff going on, but that's, we neither here nor there. But I really liked it. Yeah. So thank you, everybody, for watching. We will see you next time.